What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now, you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we got the whole Letitia James scandal continue to worsen after she was just caught conducting a massive cover-up in order to hide the evidence of her crimes, guys. And I'm excited to get to this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
And let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless. The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour.
On Valentine's Day a year ago, roses are red, violets are blue. No one's above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Happy Valentine's Day. She, of course, referring to Donald Trump. Our next guest using that tweet against her. No one is above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Letitia James. Florida Congressman and Florida gubernatorial candidate Byron Donalds is with us. Congressman, it's great to see you. Pretty ironic. Karma, payback, revenge, all of them apply here. Do you think the DOJ actually charges her?
Well, look, if it's clear that she violated the law and she was committing mortgage fraud, not to mention, as I understand it, if you're going to be the New York Attorney General, how are you claiming that you live in another state? That just doesn't work. And so if all these things pan out to be true, she should be charged. She was quick to charge Donald Trump, saying that he put fraudulent information on a loan application. Well, that's what she's accused of doing right now. And She also accused Donald Trump of saying that Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. I mean, we all know that was just stupid and a lie. So if they go through their investigation and they find evidence, probable cause, that she was committing mortgage fraud for her own benefit, of course she should be charged. That's the way our system of justice works.
It all happened in 2023. So that's when she falsified these records, allegedly. And that was the same year she put Donald Trump on trial. Do you have any concerns about her being married to her father? Is that something we need to look into?
Listen, I think everybody's got concerns about that one. That's just not something that everybody thinks is cool. I don't. It's just weird, to quote a former person running for the vice presidency that we won't talk about. But look, at the end of the day, this is what happens. You have these officials who want to go on these witch hunts while at the same time they're doing dirt behind the shadows, in the shadows. It's simply wrong. She should be held accountable like anybody else.
All right, you guys. And then on the heels of that message from Byron Donalds, we have Sam E. Antar, the lead man spearheading this whole investigation, independent fraud investigator that he is, with an urgent message to the DOJ saying, don't let the New York Times manipulate you into ignoring federal crimes. He says the Times is running coordinated defense campaign for Letitia James, treating her as a political victim instead of a federal criminal. Then he has a message to the U.S. Attorney nominee Eric Siebert. Virginia grand jury awaits your decision. Will you prosecute documented evidence or be deterred by friendly press coverage? He says that the evidence is overwhelming in this case. There's contradictory sworn statements under penalty of perjury. The government employee witnesses, of course, the wet signature that we've seen of Letitia James alongside the two other signatures by the witnesses. And then we got that 40-plus year pattern of mortgage misrepresentations backed by irrefutable property records. And then, of course, the quantified benefits exceeding $100,000. All right, guys, so what exactly is the New York Times strategy? Antar says it's to paint documented federal crimes as quote-unquote political persecutions, exactly how powerful criminals escape justice. I mean, we cannot forget that her own attorney handed over proof to the DOJ that these declarations were false, and she knew it when she signed it. We just popped over to White Collar Fraud Sammy Antar's site to figure out what the New York Times is saying to defend Letitia James. They're saying that this is all retribution. He's saying that the New York Times is saying the audience member was referring to allegations that have become the subject of a criminal investigation by Mr. Trump's Justice Department, whose leaders have rewarded the president's allies and targeted his foes. But Antar is saying that the evidence says the Federal Housing Finance Agency criminal referral didn't come from Trump's DOJ, which it did not. It came from Housing Director Bill Pulte instead, who formerly referred Letitia James over to the Department of Justice on April 14th, 2025. And then on to the next claims by the New York Times. They're saying that while securing a loan for the Virginia house, Ms. Letitia James signed a form giving her niece power of attorney, and on that form, she said that she would use the house as her principal residence, which she has not done, leading to fraud allegations. And then we got Sammy Antar saying that the actual evidence says, though the form wasn't just buried in the fine print, it was a specific sworn power of attorney filed in Virginia land records on August 17th, 2023. And she declared, I hereby declare that I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence. But just 15 days earlier, on August 2nd, 2023, James had emailed her mortgage broker saying that this property will not be my primary residence and I will not be a Virginia resident. So this isn't just a minor discrepancy, it's textbook mortgage fraud. I mean, it's clear as it gets. Letitia James committed these crimes. No matter if she has, these publications, we have the New York Times now trying to cover up for her crimes. It's not going to work. Letitia James, all of her crimes are in black and white. It would be different if this was speculatory or, just a bunch of assumptions that Letitia James committed this fraud. But no, we can see that Letitia James knowing and willingly committed these crimes, this fraud, mortgage and insurance fraud. You're not going to be able to, excuse her way out of this one. And then here is one of the biggest claims by that New York Times article that really caught my attention. They're saying that her mortgage agreement did not require her to occupy the home as her primary residence, which we all know it did. We got Sammy Antar saying that this claim is irrelevant to the federal crime, but it's also factually wrong. However, even if the Times were correct about the mortgage requirements, James still committed federal mortgage fraud by signing a false sworn declaration. So even if she didn't have to live in this, if it did not require her mortgage, it didn't require her to occupy this property as her principal residence, she still falsely declared that she would be living there, lying on these mortgage documents. So we can't excuse her for that. That's a crime in itself. All right, you guys. So if you know your boy RetroStef, we're going to get to the bottom of this no matter what. Actually just popped over to that New York Times article where they're trying to cover up and vouch for Miss Letitia James. Let's hop straight into it. Check out what they had to say. Miss James is sought to project an air of untroubled focus on her job. In an interview with the New York Times before the investigation became public, she said, "We're not concerned about any criminal indictment, but we can all see the complete opposite. Whenever she gets in front of that camera, she can't do anything but panic and scream baseless." It goes on to say, behind the scenes, though, she and her office has prepared for the worst, along with the services of Mr. Lowell, her attorney. Can't forget, that's the same attorney that represented Hunter Biden. This is a lawyer with a vast experience representing public figures under duress. Her office has retained Stephen Banks, a recent departee from the firm Paul Weiss, to defend its staff members, and she has also hired several new employees with experience handling congressional inquiries, and she is benefiting from a $10 million appropriation in New York recently passed budget that provides money for private defense counsels for those targeted by the United States government. Wow, you guys, $10 million appropriated for Ms. James in the state of New York. It didn't specifically say her name inside of that budget bill passed, but we all know what Kathy Hochul's aim was behind this one, to make sure that Miss Letitia James could use this money to represent herself. All right, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Now we're seeing the New York Times hopping on the side of Letitia James, trying to cover up for her corruption and her mortgage and insurance fraud schemes, but it's not going to work. And whatever happened to, these journalists, these publications being fair and unbiased? They're not impartial whatsoever. Why are they, not simply just giving the news and letting the folks form their own opinion? Now they're trying to, put their own spin on things and say that Letitia James is actually right in saying these claims or these allegations against her are baseless and they hold no merit. That corrupt New York Attorney General Letitia James has dug such a deep ditch for herself that I don't think that the New York Times or any news outlet will be able to get her out of this one. I mean, all the evidence, it's right there for the DOJ, especially with the lead independent fraud investigator, Sam E. Antar, and all the gift wrap for DOJ is the evidence and the digging that he's done for the DOJ DOJ. I mean, it's all right there waiting for her to be prosecuted, criminally charged for her fraud. And honestly, at this point, it's only a matter of time for Letitia James is actually held accountable for her crime and her corruption. Hopefully, Pam Bondi and her DOJ act fast. I mean, Sam E. Antar has laid it all out there, gift wrapped it up. All you guys have to do is bring the case against her, guys. But definitely hop in that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.